Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः Bhadram Pasyemakshbhiryajatraः Sthirairangaistushtuvaagumsastanubhiः Vyasema devahitam yadayuः Swasti na Indro vruddhasravaः Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaः Swasti nastarchyo arishtanemiः Swasti no Bruhaspatir dadatu Om Shanti 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 Om Agnenaya Supatharaye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyodhyasmadjuhuranameno Bhuyishtham te nama bhuktim vidhema Om Shanti 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 Om Apyayantu Mangani Vakpranaschakshuhu Srotramatho Balamindriyani cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam. Thank you. Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarotu Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam me astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmaha Te mayi samtu Tena mayi samtu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome to our session on the Svetasvataropanishad. We have completed the 4th chapter, mantras of Svetasvatara Upanishad, where the chapter concludes with a strong prayer to Rudra that he has to take care of children, grandchildren, relations, friends, etc. Secondly, he has to help us to continue our span of life with all prosperity. Also, we have made a prayer to Rudra that he should not torture or trouble the land and people, the cattle, wild and domestic, gramyaha pashuvaha. Also, aranyaha pashuvaha, and so on. So all that is implied in the representative term goshu, ma no goshu, and ma no ma asveshu. The horses, they belong to a different category. They are all very useful for a number of purposes. The cows give us food, and the horses will help us to convey the food to all places. So for a number of purposes are there. And again, the defense personnel who will be protecting the land and people and everybody in the family or elsewhere, then we have a beautiful request to Rudra, Bhamito vadhihi, please try to divert your anger or ire or anything like that away from us. And therefore, for all that good that you are planning to do for us, or you like exactly endow upon us all this kind of benefits, then we are all there waiting to offer you food or offerings, calling you into the Yajna Vedi and we worship you. So Rudra is one who likes appeasement and who is also one who can be appeased also. Apyayamanas apyayamanah apyayamanas swaswaha. We say in Agni worship that ye are a person who gets pleased. Apyayamana. And so again a request that get pleased. So when they are happy, when they are pleased, when they are satisfied, there will be a lot of positive activity towards the benefit of the people, the devotees. And moreover, we should remember not all people will be able to make prayer to gods, but there is only a representatives. So if one person in a family, if some people in a town, if some more people in a state, etc., if they are doing some positive activity, definitely gods are obliged. They are so kind that they will definitely do good. So with this kind of note, having spoken about the life process, the goals of life, the measures to make the goals of the life being realized, etc., all that has been pointed out to us by the great Svetasvataropanishad, Maharshi in his Upanishad. And he also knows that whatever possible benefit that one could accrue by the Vedic wisdom, by adopting to the Vedas, they will be definitely benefited. And having known about all that in the fourth chapter, and now we are going into the fifth chapter of the Upanishad, where you see a continuation of the description of the Paramatma. Actually, you cannot adopt your worship or like the person until you are very much convinced about the Mahat of the person, the character of the person, and the conduct of the person, and the person being useful to you, maybe God or anybody. So in that sense, in the fifth chapter also, some more wisdom-ridden formulas are being given to us, and that we are going to start today in this session. Today is an important day in Kartika Masam, which is very much dedicated for Lord Rudra, Lord Subramanya, and Ammavaru. So Siva, Namah Shivaya or Somaya, whenever we say Rudra, Paramatma, Bhagavan, Parabrahma, Soma. So Uma Sahitaha, Saha Paramatma, Soma. He is just together with the Shakti. Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavat Shakta Prabhavitum. So Shankara said, Acharya said, so Shiva and Shakti, when there is ekatva between them and identity about them, then there is nothing impossible. That's why even Kalidasa makes a prayer that Vagarthaiva Sampraktau, the Parvati Parameswaras, Adi Pitrus are together just like Vak and Artha, word and sense. So, and they are the cause for the entire universe to go in a happy manner, give rise for the activity in the universe. So to such great Parabrahma, and who is he further? So that's what is being explained to us in the next formulas, which we find in the fifth chapter now. Actually, we have noted that there are 6 chapters in the Svetasvataropanishad and 113 mantras in the Upanishad, and therefore, through this short Upanishad containing so many useful mantras, we are being introduced to the core of the Vedantic information or knowledge. And Vedanta is also a Shastra, and Vedanta also Anuyayi Marga, and it's a Patha, Vedanta Patha. My guru, Medavaram Subramanya Shastri, used to describe himself as biodata like that, Vedanta Anugama. So he is only follower of the Vedanta Marga, and like that he introduced himself. Like that, Vedanta is the ultimate one which is required for all people, because that gives us a lot of solace. because it talks about the truths of life. And what is real, what is unreal is being distinguished, and we are informed about them. Therefore, Vedanta is also a wonderful science. And Vedanta Jnana, Vedanta Vijnana is important. Now let's go to the 5th chapter, where the first mantra reads like this. Dve akshare brahmapare tvanante vidya vidye nihite yatra gudhe sharam tva vidya amrutam tu vidya vidya vidye ishate yastu sonya. So, Anyaha is a wisdom fellow. This is exactly, we are introduced here the most important tenets of Vedanta, Vidya and Avidya. What is Vidya? What is Avidya? So everybody is trying to put the sima or borders, definition, nirvachana, etymology, etc. to these two concepts. So Vidya and Avidya. So popularly, the Ishavasyopanishad belonging to Shukla Veda, the Svetasvataropanishad belonging to Krishna Veda. So both of them have got to tell us what is Vidya, what is Avidya, and elsewhere. And it is said, Vidyaya, Avidyaya mrutyum tirtva, Vidyaya amrutamasnute. We are going to be immortal. Amrutamasnute, we have got to attain immortality by virtue of the tolerance of the Vidya. And among all the Vidyas, there is one Vidya called Sri Vidya, and that's called Raja Vidya. And Sri Vidya people are sure to attain moksham. Charme janmani Sri Vidyopasako bhavet is the promise given by Haigriva Maharshi to Agastya Maharshi in Lalita Sahasranama Stotram. So Raja Vidya it is. More we'll know when we come to explain the mantra. And now I am reading the second mantra. Yo yonim adhitishtati eko vishwanirupani yonischa sarvaha rushim prasutam kapilam yastamagre gnaneihi vibharti Jayamanam chapasyetu. Third mantra. Ekaikam jalam bahudha vikurvan asmin kshetre samharatyesha devaha bhuyaha srishtva patayaha tatheshaha sarvadhipatyam kurute mahatma. So the Mahatma, the great soul, holds sway over all of them. So now let us know what is the communication in the 5th chapter at the very outset, which our Rishi wants to give. So Brahma pare dve akshare. So there are only 2 aksharas leading to the wisdom of the Veda, leads us to immortality. And what are those 2? Akshare, they are imperishable, and Brahma pare, and they are secret, and Vidya Vidye, they are distinguished as Vidya, knowledge, wisdom, Avidya, and otherwise of it, and both of them Gudhe. So Gudhe. And they are all very secret. You don't know what is Vidya, what is Avidya, but it has got to be explored. So Nihit Godhe Nihite Vidya Vidye Yatra. So this here tells you that Vidya and Avidya is Gudha, not very much open. It has to be sought after. In Vishnu Sahasranama also, Bhishmacharya tells us that Yani Namani Gaunani Ta Prakhyatani Mahatmanaha Rishibhihi Parigitani Tani Vakshiye. So what are these great scholars are doing? They are trying to explain to the mankind for benefiting all generations whatever is secret. We cannot know the secret. We have no gadgets to unravel the secret. But there are great wisdom ridden Vyutpatti Purnaha, Pratibha Purnaha, Maharshayaha, they are able to uncover that. Therefore, it is said that Gudhe, everything is Gudha. And Nihite explained to us Vidya Vidye. So just for our basic understanding, what is Vidya, what is Avidya, we have this third line gives you a gist of the understanding or giving the meaning of that Avidya and Vidya. Charam tu Avidya, Amrutam tu Vidya. So, Charam is perishable. Ignorance is Avidya. And Charam Avidya also means that all concerned to our modern knowledge, mundane existence, and attraction to all the pleasures and pressures of the pains in the world. So, Charam to Avidya. He Amrutam to Vidya. So, Avidya is Charam and Vidya, indeed. That word he tells you that indeed it is Amrutam. It is immortal, permanent. And Vidya Vidye Isate Yastu So Anyaha. So there is one great person who is able to have a control or the power of governance over all these things. That is exactly Paramatma. So, Vidya Vidye Ishate Yastu Sonya. Ishate is the word because the Ishwaratva is important. The governor is important because both are important because they are the. Hello, join the class. So governs them both. So God is always Adhyaksha. That's exactly a truth introduced to us by Purusha Suktam in Rigveda 10th Mandala. There it is said Adhyatishthad Dashangulam Vishwato Vrutva Adhyatishthad Dashangulam. There should be a leader, there should be a controller, there should be a monitor, and there must be a driver to all that. Therefore, that driver will be Paramatma himself. So without a leader, nothing is visibly possible. There will be a lot of chaos and confusion when there is nobody to lead the way. That's why we have a mantra in Adhyayana, Agre Pavaha. Agre. So Agra is the word. That is, one has to be at the forefront. One has to be at the forefront to be able to monitor both. That's exactly what we understand, that you cannot accept Paramatma anywhere. Sarvataha chakshuhu, sarvataha sat asti. Therefore, it is said, Anyaha yaha tu vidya vidye ishate. That person who is able to balance and supervise the two margas, Vidya Marga, Avidya Marga. He is the Paramatma, and he is also different. And that's what is being given to us by the Rishi. And now let us go to the second mantra. I'm not going too much into details about this because for our purpose in our Vedadhyayana Kendra, we are all trying to get to know primarily what the rishis want to communicate in general, and so that we will be able to feel happy and obliged because of that. Now, yonim adhitisthati ekaha. So he is all alone. Kaivalyatva is there. Even once he becomes the governor or a monitor or that, he will be always one. You know that there cannot be two prime ministers. There cannot be two kings for one country. There cannot be two swords kept into the scabbard. So that's how people talk about it. There should be a single eligible authoritative individual who has to be monitoring or leading and all that. That is our principle. Eka yiddevaha apadatalamastakah. Everywhere our Vedic wisdom emphasizes the lonely capacity of a single individual, and he knows any and everything regarding many things that exist in the world. Therefore, ekaha yaha yonim ayon adhitishtati. So adhitishtati means supervisors. It remains the president of it. And again, not only that, what is that he is going to do about it? That sarvaha yonischa vishvani rupani cha adhitishtati. Not only he is trying to look at the source of that, and sarvani rupani, vishvani rupani, sarvaha yonihi. Andre, yoni is the seat where from all people get emanated. So we know that there are lakhs of species in being created or in the creation by Paramatma, and nobody has seen all of them. But now and then they will be discovering, oh, this is also there, a part of creation. And some time back in the ocean also, they found a special fish which they never knew at all, whale-like. So only when time comes, akasmat, accidentally, we come to know them. Therefore, but Paramatma knows any and everything. There is no ignorance in the Paramatma because ekaha sarvaha rupani visvani yonischa adhitishtati. So a supervisor would be knowing everything of that. Something like Paramatma, Surya Bhagavan, there is no place, when Surya is there, all nooks and corners of everywhere in the world are lit with brilliance. Then the third line tells you that Rushim Prasutam Kapilam Yaha Tam Agre Gnanaihi Vivarti Jayamanam Chapasyet. So who is this first one who knows everything? Means now we have got the creation sukta, Hiranyagarbha sukta in the Rig Veda. There are 3 and more Srishti explaining suktas are there. Purusha sukta is one, Nasadiya sukta is another, Hiranyagarbha sukta another. So our rishis also wondered, and they wanted to explore the creation, origination of the creation. So, for example, here says, Idamba agrasalilahasa is one theorem. There was nothing but completely water. That's why apamapa mapasarvaha asmadasmadito mutaha. So that's what Aruna Prashna will tell you. Apamapa mapasarvaha, any and everywhere. There was water and water and water. And same idea has been expressed in different ideas. So Hiranyagarbhas samavartatagre. And who is bhutasya jataha patirega asitu. Jataha bhutasya yekaha patihi. That's what that's what is called as adhishtatru. So adhitishtakaha. And now just he has prepared the Kapila Maharshi, Rishim Kapilam Prasutam Agre Tam Agre Yaha Gnanaihi Vivarti Jayamanam Chapasyet. So Gnanaihi Vivarti, that Kapila Maharshi, Kapilacharya, he is the great self. He holds sway over them all. Therefore, you see, the supreme is being divided like that. The knowledge of the Vedas is the wisdom, and that wisdom you find. That's why in Vishnu Sahasranamam, you have Kapila, Maharshi Kapilacharya, Krudagno Medini Patihi. You remember? See, every day, most lakhs of people are doing Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram. Lakhs of people are doing. But if they are able to get hold of the meaning, the message of the Vishnu Sahasranamam, then you will definitely notice that the scriptural knowledge and wisdom has been couched in this particular Sahasranama Stotram by the great scholar, by that Bhishmacharya. And that has been expressed to us in front of Krishna Bhagavan. Therefore, Bhishma Gita is from in the presence of Krishna, and it contains all that. Similarly, Kapilaha, Vishnu becomes a Kapila, and Vishnu becomes all Vasishtha and all these rishis. So rishis and Vishnu, often they become identified because rishis are the promulgators of the knowledge about Vishnu, knowledge, Vedic knowledge and wisdom. That's why Maharshayo Dharma Tapobhikamaha. Maharshayo Dharma Tapobhikamaha Kamanu Kamaha. So the Maharshis have got primarily the kama, the desire to promote, understand, and spread dharma. And also that they are able to do it by virtue of the tapas that they are adopting, doing that. So dharma and tapas, wherever there is dharma and tapas, Paramatma is present in that. Tapo vai Brahma in Svetasvataropanishad, when the student Bhrugurvai Varunihi Pitaram Varunam Upasasara Adhihi Bhagavo Brahmeti So Sagumho Vacha Tapo Brahma, he said, Tapasa Brahma Vijignasasva Tapo Brahmeti. So Brahma, to know Brahma, you require another Brahma. That Brahma is tapas, accessible to all people. Tapasa siddhyanti karyani namanorathaihi. So tapas is the important thing, that is power. Therefore, here we are just given Kapilam Prasutam Rishim Agre Yaha Tam Gnanaihi Vivartaha Dhyanaihi Vivarti and Jayamanam Chapasyet. Jayamanaha means being born. That's why here we have got the word Jayamanam, Jayamanam. So we have got also mantras, the Janma, Janana, Jayamana, Ajayamana, etc. We have got all combinations because all these words in Sanskrit comes from the word Ja. Ja, to be born. And that's why even Agni has also got the highest compliment because he is the Adhisthata of all the creatures born in the world. And without his knowledge, nobody can come out. That's why he is called as a Jata Veda. And therefore, we put our request to Agni, Jata Veda, to go to Lakshmi and bring such Lakshmi to our wealth to our house that will not get away from our house when once he gets into our house. So we make a prayer in Hiranyaka in that Sri Suktam that we want that such Lakshmi to come into us who will not go away. Therefore, you understand Prasutam Kapilam Rushim Jayamanam cha pasyet gnanaihi vivarti. What is the measure through which you are able to hold on? If you are a doctor, what is that makes you to hold yourself to be a doctor? Gnana. That is the diagnostic, and all other features will make you eligible to proclaim yourself as a doctor or engineer or carpenter or a cobbler or a jeep preparer, repairer, anybody. So the gnanaihi bibharti. Unless you have knowledge, you will not be able to hold on to that particular profession, to particular knowledge. Therefore, so you observe, our Svetasvataropanishad is telling you that you are not at all one, and Paramatma is there. He is something like the holder. We are all different wattage bulbs. Let us imagine if it is 0 watt or 10 watt or 15 watt or 100 watt or 1000 watt or whatever it is. See, wattage depends upon the individuals, while the power to provide the brilliance for the wattage bulb is Paramatma. Therefore, and that is constant flow. Therefore, Gnanaihi Vivarti Jayamanam Pasyet. See that which is being born, and with every kind of knowledge. Gnanaihi, you observe the word Gnanaihi. Gnanam is singular. Gnanena is Trutya Vibhakti Ekavachanam, singular. Gnanaihi is Bahuvachanam, is a plural. So we have got Gnana also in multiplicity number. Multidisciplinary way, you have got the knowledge and Vedic wisdom. So everybody, that's why Gnani Nam in Durga Saptasati, that Markandeya Maharshi also points out the Gnanam, describes what is Gnanam, and that Gnana only makes people to run their life appropriately on one hand, at the same time keeping up activity to work for reaching the goals of the human birth. Only human beings have got that power as to get themselves emancipated because of the gnanam. The animals do have that scope, but that is a Purva Janma Punyam, something like that Sri Kala Hasti. Sri, Kala and Hasti. Sri is the spider, Kala is the serpent, and Hasti is the elephant. Even we have got a clue in Bhagavatam that Janma is important to get moksham, not any other thing. So the kind of Janma is no matter. That is being also demonstrated to us in the Gajendra Moksham episode in Bhagavatam. Gajendra Moksham. So the Gajendra has been given moksham, or like that. So we see now the third sloka we can go, mantra we can go. Ekaikam jalam bahudha vikurvan asmin kshetre samharati esha devaha bhuyaha srishtva patayah tatheshaha sarvadhipatyam kurute mahatma. You constantly observe any scripture that you try to consult, that will always say to you that Paramatma is the ruler, Paramatma is the leader, Paramatma is all in all. So that Paramatma is important. So, sorry. So here, ekaikam jalam bahuda vikurvan asmin kshetre samharati yeshaha devaha. Who is a god? Yeshaha devaha. You should mark that word. Yeshaha is a demonstrative pronoun in grammar, Sanskrit. That is, whenever that Yesha devaha means something like telling in English, the god. So the god, the brilliant person, is, what is he doing? Differentiating each genus into its species and each species into its members. The Supreme Being withdraws them once more into their own ground. That's exactly the work assigned to Paramatma. That is, see, Jalam. Jala is the collectivity. Jala is the group. So, Jala and Bahudha Jalam Vikurvan. He will be making in many manners the Jalam and also ek asmin kshetre samharati. Samharati means he withdraws that also. So we have got Paramatma to be all in all. He will be completely overpowering anything, and we must want both things. Nigraha anugraha, that is the power which Brahmins are endowed. That's what Manusmriti, Smriti Granthas tell you. What is the difference between a Brahman or a Brahmin and Kshatriya between them? Because both are important for the upholding the prosperity of the society. Because Yajurveda tells you, Yatraja Brahma Kshatram cha samyak chausaratas sada tam punyam lokam pragnesham. See, you are going to meet that kind of mantra in the Taittiriya Samhita when you are studying in the Somayaga mantras. So, Yatra Brahma cha Kshatram cha samyan cha ucharataha. So, Brahma is the wisdom. Kshatriya is the executive power. So, something like Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna is the director, Arjuna is the worker. So, here, but Paramatma is one who is the monitor for Brahma and Kshatriya. He has both the powers. And I was told, we read that in Manusmriti also, elsewhere, that Brahmins have got the power to give curse and withdraw the curse. While Kshatriyas have only one-sided power. They can only curse people. They cannot withdraw the curse. So there again, you see the difference. And again in Somayaga, Asmakam Brahmana, Somo Asmakam Brahmananam Raja, and Ayam Vaha Raja, Ishmakam Raja, that kind of mantra I would get it. That is, the Brahmatvam is always superior because there is a endowment of knowledge and guidance to the society. A king is administrator, the minister is the advisor. So we know, by Kautilya and all people will tell you, if the minister is, then the king gets perished. So mantra, if mantri is dushta, then the Raja cannot be prosperous. Anyway, here, but both powers, if any Maharaja has got, then he will definitely be highly successful. So like that, here, Yeshadevaha, about whom we have been talking, he is Supreme Being and he will be able to samharaticha. He will project and then withdraw. The projection and withdrawing, both are the functions of Paramatma. And but we don't have any scope to withdraw our gender also. Whatever gender Paramatma gives, that is confirmed to us. And you can't have an exchange. So that's how Ekaikam Jalam Bahudha Vikurvan. That's one idea. So every kind of species or the genus is being given variety in the creation, and that at the same time, he will be also making further subdivisions of that. The other day, some great speaker was telling all Brahmins are one, all Kshatriyas are one, but the divisions are only regional and depending upon the contextual and circumstantial. But if you forget the divisions in among the Brahmins or Kshatriyas or anybody, then you was only one Brahma Kshatram. And that's how it is that Chaturvarnyam Maya Srushtyam. The Chaturvarnyas are only a matter of Onkarapanavare, a matter of social convenience. A Brahmin goes to school and study and develops wisdom and be an advisor. A Kshatriya will be an executive officer trying to press the advice and all that into service for the benefit of the people. A Vaishya is only a trader. He will bring all things, commodities elsewhere from somewhere, and then opens a shop next to you to distribute to the area people. And Sudra, they will go and make a service. So whatever punya that Brahmana, Vaishya, Kshatriyas do it, that punya automatically gets shared for the Sudras. They may not do a lot of worship and all those things, but they automatically, that's a Sudraha Sukhamavapnuyat. See, in Vishnu Sahasranamam, you have got the division. What is that Sudra going to get? Sukhamavapnuyat. Let that Sudra get Sukha, happiness. So that's what I say that here in this mantra, you observe Jalam is a word, very sweeping word it is, very much combing it is. And Jalam Bahudha Kurvan Vikarvan Kshetre Samharati. The word Kshetra is also important for us. Kshetra is into the ground, the base, the earth. So, if, for example, aircraft takes off from a Kshetra, and that is so, without Kshetra, it cannot take off. And without Kshetra, you cannot perform sacrifice. Therefore, Bhulokam is the Yagna Bhumi, we call it. So, Kshetre, upon the land, he does all this kind of transactions, that is projection and withdrawal, or sinking back them to the point of projection. And second line, Bhuyaha Sruštva Patayaha Tatha Ishaha. He doesn't stop with that. This is a cycle of creation. And birth, rebirth. Birth, that's why in Aruna Prashna you get the expression Mrutva Punarmrutyuma Padyante Adyamana Swakarmabihi Mrutva Punaha Mrutyuma Padyante. They die. They're born. This is exactly what you call by the word Bhuyaha. So there is no stoppage at all. There is no cessation at all. But human beings, when they are living, when they are struck with disease, and ease is struck. So the ease is dismissed. Therefore, we call it as a disease. And when the ease is completely stopped, then it is called disease. So the spelling varies. You see S and C. So C, when you use CEAS, done, you are no more. Like that, Bhuyaha is a one cycle, one cannot stop. Sruštva. Srushti is the creation. Again, Sruštva is the Avyaya, meaning that the creation cannot stop at all. A creation can be always a comma, never a full stop. And Patayaha cha, see, when creation comes into vogue, there should be also leaders, guides. Without a guide, without a neta, there is nothing happens. So that's why we call Subhash Chandra Bose ordinary, but everybody called him as a Netaji. Only he has got the word as the title as Netaji. So like that, Patayaha are the netas, and that is what Ishaha. But he never gives the total administrative power, supervisory power to anybody, but he alone is that. Sarvadhipatyam kurute Mahatma. Deva kaha devaha. Who is that God? Daha devaha Mahatma. Please understand the Paramatma, the Parabrahma, whom we are talking about, who is responsible for the sources of all creation. He is a Mahatma. Atma, Mahatma. So, we have got so many kinds of Atmas. That also you should be aware. So, Atma is body, Antaratma is the inner body, and Bhutatma is the beings actually taking the body, and Bhutatma and Devatma, etc., etc. Ultimately, it will be Paramatma. Before you go to Paramatma, the final, you have got so many layers of the Atmas. Therefore, you have already seen Atma me Sudhyantam in Viraja Homa. You have come across the mantras in Narayana Upanishad when you are attending. There, Atma me Sudhyantam, Antaratma me Sudhyantam, Bhutatma me Sudhyantam, Paramatma me Sudhyantam, Vai Jyotiraham Viraja Vipapma, Bhuya Saggum Swaha. So when you say like that, you understand that. So in the second line, so in this third mantra, we are given to the idea that Kshetrajna Vibhaga in Bhagavad Gita class done for the Atlanta and big group. I am just at the Kshetrajna Vibhaga discussion in Bhagavad Gita, where Kshetra is the species or beings, Kshetrajna is Paramatma. But though there is kind of distinction between Kshetrajna, but at both ends, Paramatma is there. Therefore, and now to understand what is the Kshetra, that is ground, is Mula Prakriti or Maya, and which is the ultimate source for the ground, or source for creation. Because Maya in Dakshinamurti Stotram, Shankaracharya tells you that Maya Kalpita Vishwam. So Vishwam Darpamanam, Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. It's a big mirror. And mirror is always Maya. You are real. Mirror can disappear. Therefore, here the Kshetram is a Mula Prakriti, and it is ultimate source for the creation. And therefore, Kshetra also is the field. Well, you are the field wherein all things will be taking up or springing up and upon the barren ground, and there is also decaying and all that will. So here we have got a beautiful thing that we have the agents for that, and agents are the leaders. And this kind of cycles of creation never ending. That's why Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita too, I think Gopichand is present, he will understand. He says that Bahunam Janmanam Ante Gnanavan Mam Prapadyate, and Janma Dhruvam Jatasya Maranam Dhruvam Dhruvam Mrutasya Cha. Well, these are all the statements which Krishna has declared, that we may want not birth, rebirth, but all that kind of thing remains only as a desire. So desire fulfillment means you have to work for that. Unless you work for the desire, fulfillment of desire, you will not be succeeding. Therefore, it is said, unless you work out, and want should be there. Want is permanent, desire is transitory. So Kalidasa tells you in a Vijnana Sakuntalam or somewhere, says Manoratha Nama Tataprapataha. The desires are like waves which constantly hit the shore or hit the bank. The bank is the head. So like that, we have indication that we have to be very much careful and use the kind of life that we are there. And now I think, see, Sarvadhipatyam kurute Mahatma. So when the word Sarvadhipatyam comes, there is no contestant. There is no controversy. There is nobody to be up on the opposition side. Finish. That's what something like a Rajagna. See, even government by order, government order. So Rajagna, like the Paramatma, he has got Sarvadhipatya. And even Lalita Sahasranama also, we have got the same idea expressed. Swatantra Sarvatantresi, Swatantra Sarvatantresi, Dakshinamurti Rupini is one thing. And so that Dakshinamurti means Gnanamurti. What is a Gnanamurti? Where you are able to remove the Maya, the ground for rebirth. Maya Kalpitam. And also, Janma and Mrityu, erase Madodake, Dakshan Yaru under Dakshinamurti. Because Dakshinamurti is Gnanamurti. And Sankara tells you, Gnana Agnihi Sarvakarmani Bhasmasat Kurute Arjuna. Krishna also said it, and Shankaracharya also put it in a different expression. So Gnana is Agni, and everything gets burnt up and you get emancipation. So that kind of scope has been given to us, that all creatures born on the ground have their activity, and when once their activity is there, they are allowed no more extension for that. They have to. So when death strikes at people, there is no second desire at all. Sometimes I tell no, and so everybody has got plenty of work upon the earth, up in the house, in the office, in shop, elsewhere. But when once death strikes, Yama comes and stands, then we have to retire. Therefore, it is a wonderful idea that Sarvadhipatyam Kurute. I hope you understood that. Again, I am reading the third stanza. That Ekaikam Jalam, one idea. Bahudha Vikurvan, at the same time, Kshetre Samharati. Who does the work? Esha Devaha. Bhuyaha Srishtva, again, creation, making. And there are also lots leaders for them. And ultimately, Paramatma, Rudra, is taking the hold over the entirety. And now I read the next verse. Sarva dishaha urdhvam adhaschatiryaku prakashayan bhrajate anadvan evam sadevaha bhagavan varenyaha yonihi swabhavan adhitishtati ekaha. The ekatva, the kevalatvam of Paramatma is being emphasized once again in the fourth mantra of the fifth chapter, where it again told that everything that has the nature of a cause and everything is belonging to Paramatma, and that Paramatma is Adhisthata. I think I will stop here. That ultimately, in this particular section, we are being introduced to the concept that you don't confuse that there are any number of gods, and so it is very hard for us to worship them, all of them. No, Sarvadeva Namaskaraha Keshavam Pratigacchati. Like the water coming from the heaven, going up to the ocean ultimately, that concept has been introduced. But this kind of thesis is not independent only to the Upanishad, but it is again reinforced by the Upanishad Rishis. We should know that there are hundreds and thousands of Upanishadkaras. So many Upanishads are there. Though we have known Upanishads belonging to each Veda, but there are many more Upanishads whose number we do not know at all. In that sequence, we have got one Upanishad called Allah Upanishad. It's called Allah Upanishad. And if you are curious, one day I will read the Allah Upanishad also to you, and to make a meaning is Allah, because all the Islam and Muhammad, they all believe that everything is in Allah, and something like Christ. Christ is God. So like that, we have that Ekatvam is being given in Hinduism also, though there is variety we have more variety in our religion. We have not got one scripture. Some officer asked me, sir, other people have got one book, Quran or Bible or something like that. Can we not have one text for our Hinduism, where we get everything at one place coded? You can imagine that kind of question, what kind of answer you can give. You cannot have one book in Hinduism because thousands and thousands of rishis or saints, philosophers, etc., are there in our country, Bharat. So therefore, we can choose. But for convenience, we can say Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Mahabharatam, Ramayana, etc. All these are very, very powerful books, treatises, where you find many, many things related to our Vedic wisdom, Vedic practices, and ways and means to get a real utility of the birth, the kind of birth that we have been granted in this world. So I think we stop here. Yes, Omkarapa, tell her Om Swasti.
Om Sahanavotu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyanto Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu. Shri Vasudevarpanamastu. Shri Veda Purusha Shirvadostu. Om Tat Sat.